Yo, what is up, everybody? Jumping here, and today I am back on some Cyberpunk 2077, and I'm going to be showing you how you can hit for 100 million damage. I know some people are going to say, wait, what? But yes, I can hit for 100 million damage. This is actually kind of like an infinite damage exploit that I accidentally stumbled upon. And I do believe I might be the first person who actually figured this out. But I was playing around with my legit build, which I was going to make a video about, and I still will. If you want to see that, let me know, leave a comment. But that build can hit between 1 million to 2 million damage. It's pretty crazy itself, but then all of a sudden I started to hit for like 6 million damage. Then I started to hit for like 10 million damage, and I knew something was wrong, so I retraced my steps and I was able to figure out that basically the game was glitching out. Then I was able to figure out exactly how to do the glitch, and now I can hit for 100 million damage. I know it's crazy, but now I'm going to go ahead and show you some clips of this, but be sure to like this video for me. It definitely helps me out, and I really do appreciate it. So the first clip is actually going to be the lowest number we're going to see here, and I am going to shoot one enemy so I can get my skills and perks going, and then I'm going to shoot the other enemy. And I do have a slowdown time for my operating system, which is good because it's going to help us see the numbers, but I'm also going to replay the clip and slow it down even further, because right there, that's 92 million. Now this second clip, same thing, I'm going to shoot the first enemy to get my skills and perks going, and then I'm going to shoot the second one, and that's a charge-up shot, by the way. That's 105 million damage. That is crazy. And then finally, for this clip, now I'm actually going to almost die, so my lightning's going to go off. It's going to make it kind of harder to see, but that is actually going to be 134 million damage, which is absolutely ridiculous. Now, let me go ahead and tell you what I know about this, because to be honest with you, I don't know everything. You guys can go ahead and test this out, see if this works with other weapons, because as of right now, the only weapon that I can tell that it works with is the weapon I'm using, which is the DR12 Quasar. This just so happens to be my favorite pistol in the entire game, so that's fine by me, but I have tried a couple other weapons, okay? I did try to do this with a smart SMG and a tech sniper. I couldn't get it to work. I tried it with a smart pistol and a normal pistol. I couldn't get it to work. But I did try it with the other tech revolver, because there are two tech revolvers. And with the other tech revolver, I did get it to work on paper, but it didn't actually work. So I'm going to explain that in a moment, but this was the one I was doing it with, and it was strange. I don't know. Maybe it only works with the Quasar. Now, one thing you will also need for this, if you want to pull this off, is you need slow-mo for your operating system. In my opinion, this is the best one. You can get this from Fingers. Hopefully you didn't punch him in the face, because if you did, you can't buy it. But this one has a really short cooldown on it. And if you actually put some cooldown reduction on it, mine is 9.5 second cooldown. That is crazy. It's super, super good. Now, something else that you're going to want to have is you want to have 3 Quasars equipped. Now, I don't think they have to be like super similar. I would definitely tell you maybe try to match the element. That could be something that goes with this. And also maybe the charge multiplier. If you look, all of mine, they have a charge multiplier. And also, I do actually have literally 3 of the same Quasar here. If I look down here, this is literally the same gun, and I got all these from crafting. I did not duplicate these, because if you do decide to duplicate a weapon, you cannot equip more than one of that weapon. It's really strange, I don't know why, but if you craft it, eventually you will get this exact same weapon, because there's only so many outcomes when it comes to crafting. But I am using a slightly different version. This is the one I actually use when I'm fighting and doing combat. And that's because it actually has a lower charge time on it. It also has a lower headshot damage multiplier, even though right now it looks like it's higher. It's not. That's because I have it currently equipped. But this is definitely my go-to gun. This is the one that I like the most. But it is slightly different. But I would be a little bit careful, like I said, maybe with the element and also the charge multiplier, because I do have charge multiplier on all 3 of these. So if you're trying to mimic me, maybe try to get that as well. And just in general, it's a good tip. If you have a tech weapon that can charge up, always make sure you get charge multiplier, because it doesn't always come like on your weapon. And in this case, like this Quasar, on paper, it's better. It has a higher DPS, it has 100% crit on it. You're like, man, looks great. But guess what? It's crap because it doesn't have charge multiplier. And charge multiplier is absolutely huge. Now, luckily, the Quasar is extremely easy to get because all you actually have to do to get this weapon is you have to get an 18 technical ability. That way you can go ahead and craft legendaries. And also, you're going to have to get your crafting up to 18, the actual skill. There are exploits, you can look them up, you can get your crafting skill up super quick. But once you've done that, you'll automatically unlock the schematic for the Quasar. And you can just sit here and craft it over and over again until you can get ones that are somewhat similar. Like I said, I'm not sure if they need to be similar or not, but just to be careful, I would probably recommend to try to get some that are similar. Now, let's actually talk about what is happening with this exploit, okay? Basically, what is going to happen is we are going to get our attacks per second to increase. And essentially, this reminds me of a Borderlands 3 exploit. And in that game, you could basically make your gun fire more bullets. So you pull the trigger once, and it actually fires like 3 or 4 or 5 bullets. And in this case, we're going to be able to fire like 10, 20, 30 bullets at once. Or at least the game's going to register it as like 30 bullets at once. That's why our damage is going to go up by so much. And you know you're doing this right when you're taking a look and you'll see your attacks per second are going up. And your DPS is going to go up like crazy because your attacks per second is going up so high. So that is how this works. And with those other weapons I talked about, like the Smart SMG, the Tech Sniper, and the pistols, I couldn't get the attacks per second to go up. But with the other Tech Revolver, I was actually able to get the attacks per second to go up, which was very, very strange. But the problem was I wasn't able to actually get this weapon to fire more than one shot. So that was what was going on. It starts at 0.78 attacks per second. I was able to get this up to like 13 attacks per second, but yet I couldn't actually get it to fire more shots. And that is also the same with the iconic version, the Comrade's Hammer. I definitely thought, man, if you could get this weapon to fire like 10, 20, 30 shots at once, it would be ridiculous. And I was able to get the attacks per second to go up. I just wasn't able to get the gun to fire more than one shot. So that was something that I noticed. But so far, out of everything I've tested, this revolver, or at least these Tech Revolvers, are the only guns that this is working on. So there you go. I don't know. You guys can test it out yourself and see. Maybe you can get it to work with other weapons. Now, just real quick, there is a perk I want to talk about because I do think this perk might be playing into it. This is called Snowball Effect. This is in the handgun tree. You need 16 reflex to get this. And what this does is that when you defeat an enemy, you get increased fire rate for your handguns. And it's up to 25% and it lasts for 6 seconds. So what I was thinking is maybe what's happening with this, with the Tech Revolvers, because I've tried this with like non-Tech Revolvers and it didn't work. So maybe it only affects the Tech Revolvers because, like I said, with both of them, it did actually make the attacks per second go up. But maybe what's happening here is because of what I'm doing, it is actually becoming permanent. So if you think about it, it's like, okay, each time maybe I'm getting 15 or 25% and then it's permanent. So over time, it's going to make my gun like wig out, glitch out, and start firing like more shots because it keeps going up and up and up. I don't know, maybe, but I really can't explain it. But this is something I would definitely say to get. The reason why I think this is actually playing into it, though, is because I have tried doing this exploit while just standing still, and it didn't work. Now, when I'm running around killing enemies, that's when it works. And also, I do want to say that once you get this like going and you get the increased damage, it is permanent. And it will only go away when you load your save. Either you die and you load the save, or if you load the save because you just want to like restart your checkpoint. If you fast travel and you're playing and you're getting loading screens, it's not going to reset it at all. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Another perk I guess I'll mention is Grand Finale. I am using this to help me get like that really crazy damage at the end because this will double my damage. And also, we are switching our weapons, so get on the fly. This will definitely help you out. Definitely grab that. And one thing you might notice, I don't actually go for like crit chance perks anymore. I don't need to. Once you hit like the end game, especially if you have like good mods for your armor, you will have 100% crit chance. You do not need to waste perks actually getting more crit chance, like honestly. Also, just real quick, I did get my engineering to 20. Now, I'm pretty sure this exploit was popping up and triggering before I ever got the final perk. So I'm not going to say like this final perk might be playing into it, because I'm pretty sure this was actually happening to me before I ever got this perk. But I did want to point it out. And also, you know, this is kind of what I've done with the engineering tree. There is definitely one perk that's crazy, where attack weapons will ignore armor. That's just really, really, really awesome. And also, Cold-Blooded, I do have the final perk. I mean, this is basically what I have. Honestly, Cold Blood is more of a defensive thing. It really is. Like, the only offensive thing for guns is the final perk. And there are some offensive stuff for, like, melee weapons and stuff, but that's it. In terms of, like, actual, like, guns, it's really just the final perk that's going to give you offense. Everything else is defense. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started with this. I'm actually at the Voodoo Boy farm. This is in Pacifica. Basically, any farm area where there's enemies you can kill, that's good. It's not going to really matter. Now, one thing you're going to want to do is I have this gun. This is the gun I actually want to use, okay? So because of that, I'm going to go ahead and swap it off. And this has the same scope, but it's uglier, so I know it's not the right one. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to empty the magazine to 0. Then I'm going to switch to this other gun. Once again, I know it's the right one because it has a different scope. I'm going to empty this to 0 as well. Then I'm going to swap to the gun I actually want to use. Now, this is the gun we're going to boost the damage to. So, what we're going to do is we're going to lower the ammo down to like 7, 6, 5. It doesn't really matter because we're going to go into slow-mo. And now we're just going to kill the enemies. Then, just cycle through all the ammo. And then when you start to reload, you want to swap to these other guns and start to reload them. And then basically just make a full cycle until you're back to your actual gun. And you want to reload your actual gun. Now, another thing too, I'm not sure if you actually have to finish the reload in the slow motion animation or not. It's probably a good idea to do that, but I'm just not sure. So now we're just going to go ahead and kill these enemies and run out of ammo. And now we're just doing our cycle. And now we are finishing the reload. And we have to wait for the cooldown each time. That's why the fingers, like slow-mo, is so much better, because it's only 15 seconds. And if you can reduce that, mine's only 9. It's so much better. So now let's lower this back down. Go into slow-mo. Get these kills. And there you go. Waste the rest of the ammo. And now we're going to cycle again. And we will fully reload. Now, there's going to be some enemies down there. I like to actually run down there now, because it's going to actually make these other enemies respawn. Now, one thing you might notice, you can just see it for yourself. The fire rate is already like a lot higher. Like, I'm able to actually like blow through this ammo a lot faster than I was originally. So now we're going to cycle. Okay, and that's why like the perk for the whole like drawing and holstering is so good, just because it's so much faster. And of course you want to be able to reload faster too. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look now. So if we look at our DPS first of all, we're at 3,000. So something's up there. But if we actually take a look at the weapon, we're at 6.68 attacks per second. So that's almost double the normal rate. So we know that this is working because our attacks per second is actually increasing. But also, like, look when I fire this. You see that? It's firing a lot faster. Now, maybe it's because it's firing more than one bullet. I do not know. But it is definitely firing a lot faster. So now we're going to go ahead and get the kills. And we are going to cycle through. And we are going to reload. Go ahead and shoot this. I mean, look at that. That's insane, right? And there are going to be some enemies down there. We're going to just wait for a cooldown before we jump down. And let's go ahead and do it. And come on, slow-mo. There we go. And the reason why I'm making sure I get these kills is because of the perk that I mentioned. I'm not sure if that's playing into this or not, you know, but I think it might be, just because if you try to do this just standing still, it doesn't work. At least it didn't work for me when I tried it, so that was something. Alright. Let's go ahead and just run past that guy. Run over here. Shake slow-mo. And pretty soon here, I am actually going to start charging up my shot because I want to actually start to see the damage itself. Because you can go negative with this. You have to be a little bit careful. But I mean, if you take a look, we're at 11,000 DPS. And I'm at 19.75 attacks per second. So 100,000 DPS, that's like our limit. That's where we want to get. And we kind of want to just sit there. Because if we go negative, it's not the end of the world. Because you still will do damage most of the time. But sometimes you'll get like 0 to pop up. It happens. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower this down. I should have actually got it down to just 3 shots, but 2 shots is going to do it as well. We're going to go into slow-mo. We're going to take a shot, charge this up, and let's see what our number is right now. So right now we're at, well, actually that's like 7.9 million, I believe. It's hard to actually tell when you're doing this, to be honest with you, like without like watching the video and slowing it down. But I believe that was 7.9 million. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and kill that enemy. Lower this down to 3. And now we're going to rush over here. Go into slow-mo. 1 kill. 2 kill. And now I'm going to charge it up. Hope I don't miss. There we go. That's pretty sure that's 14 million. I know, it might be, could be 140, but I think it's 14. But let's take a look because I think we're there now. Yes, we are. We're at 100,000 DPS. And that's where we want to be. Okay, 177 attacks per second. That is crazy. Now, here's the deal. If I do it one more time, I can hit for 100 million. But I'll probably go negative. It's kind of like a risky thing. Because, let me go ahead and lower this down. Okay. And let's see how much damage I can get like right now. Because it's going to be really high, but it might not be 100 million. It might be like 30 million or like 40 million. Let's see. I'm going to charge that up. Come on. Oh my god. Oops. Alright, well I started the cycle anyway, my bad. My controller like aims up by itself and you can totally see it there. It's super frustrating how it does that. Alright, so let's see. Okay, so you'll notice the damage goes down when you're not in slow-mo. That's another thing. I forgot to mention that. So we're going to lower this. First of all, let me just kill that guy. And let's take a look, see where we're at. See, I think it's the kill maybe. Like, if you get a kill, it boosts it back up to, like, be that high. I don't know. But let's go ahead and now run over here. We're going to go 1, 2, and charge it up. And we just hit 0. See what I'm saying? That can happen, but as you can see, it didn't matter right there. All right, let's try this again. Hope we don't get 0 again, but we might. Let's actually just do 2 and not 3. So, like I said, when you get to 100,000, you really should just keep it there. Don't do it anymore, because if you do, you might regret it. Okay, yeah, that's 131 million. That is 100% 131 million. But now we're at 0. So, see, that's kind of the problem. Like I said, 100,000 DPS is more than enough. Hitting for like 40 million, 30 million, 50 million, that's fine. But I think if I get 3 kills, or at least if I get 2 kills, that's when, for a little bit, for like a second or two, I actually will get 0 damage. Let's take a look. So 1, 2, let's charge it up and see if this is 0. Yes, it was. So yeah, my theory is right. Basically, if we look, look at my minus 141,000. It's crazy, man. It's minus almost 300 attacks per second. Ridiculous. But, if we give it some time, it's going to go back down, I guess. Yeah, see, it goes back down, and I can still do damage at this point. But also, if I only do 2 shots instead of, like, the 3, it should work fine. So, 1, let's charge this up. I don't have any reticle anymore, of course. Yeah, 122 million. There you go. But, if you actually use the other route where you're only getting the 40 or 30 million, that way you will actually never go negative. You'll never go negative. Now, of course, all of this is overkill, by the way. Every single bit of this is complete overkill. It's not needed. It's not like completely necessary. It's just more or less just a really crazy, ridiculously kind of overpowered thing you can do if you want to do it. But I accidentally kind of stumbled upon it and I wanted it to share it with you guys. I don't fully understand it myself. I'm not sure if you can do it with other weapons. It's something to be tested. I've tried to do it with some other weapons. It didn't really work. So maybe it's really just this pistol. I don't know. But being able to hit for over 100 million damage is absolutely insane. Alrighty guys, so that's going to pretty much do it for the video. I really do hope that you have enjoyed it and that this has helped. If it has, will you please like the video for me? That definitely helps me out and I really do appreciate it a lot. Also, leave a comment just because it helps with the YouTube algorithm. I really also appreciate that. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't. And if you do, click the bell if you want to stay notified. I will be putting out more Cyberpunk videos. Thank you so much for watching and I really do hope that everyone has a very nice day, and peace out.